Good evening. This is Dr. Aisha Bonner-Kozad, and I want to spend a few minutes going over the syllabus. I say this every year. I don't look at the syllabus as a waste of your time. I look at it as a contract. It spells out clearly what you can expect from me and what you should expect from yourselves. If you read carefully and follow the instructions as laid out, I have every confidence that you will succeed in this class. Where people sometimes fall apart, it's not the difficult things like writing and analysis, and it really is simple things like missing deadlines and not fully reading the instructions. I can tell you, I spend a lot of time writing these things out so that you have every opportunity to succeed. Help yourself, save my sanity, and please make sure you read every piece of material so that you will know what I'm expecting from you as far as your assignments. If this is your first online class, you may be in for a few surprises. People often anticipate that the online class will be easier and less work, when in fact it is the opposite. They tend to be more work because you don't have that in-class opportunity. So we have to try to find a way to translate what you would experience in the classroom in some way to the online environment. Online courses are also, I think, very well suited for self-directed students. I will send out reminders, but the expectation is that you will read the material, follow the instructions, and that is less involvement on my part than you might have if you were in a classroom. So, having said all of that, I want to welcome you to the class and just spend a few minutes pointing out a few important items in the syllabus. As you can see here, I do not regularly check my Howard email. So if you're trying to get a hold of me via email, please, please, please use my Gmail. I'm giving you all my cell phone. If you need to reach me, I would prefer you text. Unless it's an emergency, of course, then please call. Online classes don't have a meeting day per se, but new assignments, new material, new announcements will typically come on Thursdays, though you may get announcements from me at different points during the week. I will hold virtual office hours every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. We can also agree to meet on the phone or virtually if you need a meeting with me. We can do that individually. All right, that's pretty much the housekeeping. I am certainly not going to read all of this material. Please do. This is what you should expect to get from the class, and I encourage you to make sure that you do. And 90% of that is up to you. I've presented you the material. All you have to do is absorb it. Information on the Black perspective, course objectives, educational outcomes, and then the core competencies from CSWE, which is the group that identifies how we should be instructing up-and-coming social workers. And it's all folded into a handy dandy little chart here. You can see the competency as it's related to an educational outcome, as it's related to your assignment. So you can see exactly what things I'm asking you to do, how they're related to where you're going to end up at the end of this educational experience, and how that's related to the core competency that our governing body says that you should have. Again, this is a fully online course. We will not meet. This is pretty standard fare. Don't cheat. Don't plagiarize. I do run every written assignment through the Safe Assign, which is our program that looks to see if there is a possibility of plagiarism in your written assignments. I will say this: when in doubt, cite. You can't get in trouble for citing too much, but you definitely can get in trouble for not citing. The theft of someone else's intellectual endeavor is deeply frowned upon in academia. We all work very hard for the things that we do, the work that we create. So feel free to incorporate someone else's ideas into your work. Just do it correctly. If you are ever in doubt, please ask. I've provided some resources to help make sure that you're using APA format correctly, which is our standard for social work. And you can always just ask me. I'm happy to help. Writing matters. That information is here. If you're struggling with the level of your writing, don't be afraid to use the Writing Center. They are very good and they can help you. Here is where you can get some easy to digest information on APA formatting. You'll see in the rubric I do subtract if you're not using the correct style, so make sure you know it. If you have any special needs, let's make sure to deal with that early in the semester. There's also a program for graduate students who need to improve their writing. You can get access to that at that website. If you're in danger of any sort of interpersonal violence, we have resources here, or someone who is. Tech requirements, I would say that if your computer is not more than 3 years old, you should be fine, but you can check to make sure that your computer is compatible, or use the iLab. There are assignments every week. If nothing else, discussion board will be every week. This is not a time when you can simply say, hey, good job. You have to make a substantive post to the question that I've put there, and then you need to give your colleagues an equally substantive reply, and you need to do that for 2 people for each discussion post. It's all laid out, but it's important to know that I do look at them, I do grade them, so please make sure you're following the assignment. And, you will get more out of it if you fully participate. Here is the text. Please get that as soon as possible. Sort of a huge red flag here. If you miss more than 6 discussion boards, that's an automatic F for the class. That would be the equivalent of you not showing up for half of the courses, half of the classes if we were face-to-face. In this chart here, you can see exactly the way each assignment is measured, and then a more intensive breakdown of each of the assignments. For both the group written paper and the theory paper, well, they're both group things, but for both of those assignments, there is a very extensive, extremely detailed write-up online that tells you step by step what you need to do. Do yourselves a favor and read it. I've never had anyone fail those papers who followed the directions. And that's all I can say about that. Your class participation is based on the discussion boards. So again, even though they're 10 points apiece, they do add up. Here you can go through and look at each of the units, the objectives, or what we'll be covering, reading, so on and so forth. All of this material is on Blackboard, but of course this document is for you to keep for your own reference. And then just skim through here. This is your Bible. This is the course calendar. It looks crazy, but this is in order. You'll know exactly each week what's being covered, what assignments, and what's due. Again, this is also on Blackboard itself, but it's very detailed, and if you stick to it, you'll be just fine. So that's it for the syllabus. Make sure you check your announcements several times a week. Once is typically not enough. Blackboard does actually push them out to you, so when I post a new announcement, it should come to your email, but only if Blackboard has the email that you check. So again, make sure that that's the first thing you should take care of when you get onto Blackboard. Really investigate the site so you know where things are. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. All right, looking forward to a great semester.